So chapter 2 is going to cover creating financial statements in Excel. The first topics we're going to look at is moving different columns and rows. And we're going to learn a little bit about hiding them and modifying some cells. So in your textbook on page 36, right in the middle, it says develop your skills EA2-1. Okay, we're opening up a blank workbook. Step 2, enter this data, cell A1, city, music, world. A2, income statement, so that tells us what statement we're creating. And A3, for the month ended December 31st, 2016. Okay, step 3, select cell A5. Type sales revenue and tap tab 3 times. 42,000 and press enter. Okay. Step 4 in cell A6, type in expenses with a colon, which means we have more than one, right? Step 5, right-click the row 6 header. So remember, the headers, the numbers and the letters around our rows and columns. So I'm going to right-click on that header and go to Insert. And it gave me a blank row there above expenses. Okay, another place you can go to do that is right here. You can insert sheet rows and columns and things like that. So then on the next page, number 6, enter this data. So going to be 8. And I'm just typing in what the book is telling me to type in. And then C8. Okay. Step 7, select cell A12 and type total expenses. And press tab 3 times. Then type 22,600. And again, we can use equations to solve these mathematical problems, and we're going to get to that later in the book. This is another one of those situations where your computer tells you to do it one way. I would do it a different way. Okay? So this is how your computer would show you how to set it up. What I'm going to do is same thing I did before. I'm just going to copy and paste this over here and show you a different way. The reason why they're having you put this information in column H, and I'm going to make column H bigger, is because your rent expense, your expenses under your expenses are supposed to be indented. So again, these could be, actually all of these numbers, all of this stuff could be over one column, right? And we could take these titles that need to be indented and just indent them using the indent button. Okay, we don't have to use a whole nother column. Personally, I just feel like this makes more sense to keep all of the account titles in one column. This is how your book tells you to set it up. Again, how you set it up is totally up to you because everybody does things differently. So now I am on step 8 in the textbook. It says A13, type the word net income. And again, I'm going to work over here on the left-hand side of my screen where the book side is. I just zoomed that in a little bit so you could see it better. Once you type net income, press tab 3 times and type in 19,400. Again, an equation would be better there in case you need to change a number in the process. Step 9, range C5 to D13. Choose home number accounting, and this is where we talked about we are not going to choose accounting because in accounting we don't actually put dollar signs in front of all the money. We're going to choose the comma style and decrease the decimal point. Step 10, select columns B through D. And then double click the border between columns B and C. So what they mean is right here, if I put my mouse on that line, it turns into a straight black line with 2 black arrows. And if I double click it, it's going to make these columns automatically resize to the longest set of words. Okay. Step 11, right click column A header and choose column width. and type 4 and press enter. Again, that is to make these look like they're indented, even though they're in a totally different box. In cell A16, type this text: review miscellaneous expense. I can never spell that word. For potential savings. Okay, so here we're putting in a little note for whoever's reading this that this is a potential place where you could save some money. Okay. However, we may not want that note to be visible to everybody. Okay, so this is where the hide, unhide comes into play. Select cell A16 and choose Home, Cells, so right here's the word Cells, Format, Hide and Unhide, Hide Rows. So by doing that, I'm hiding that entire row. So if you have data in that row other than just that word, okay, you need to make sure you're not hiding stuff that you don't want to hide. So if I click on Hide Rows, that data is gone, okay? But if we look at our numbering here, we can see that there is something missing. Our rows go from 15 to 17. We can tell that there is a hidden row there. And then it says save your file. So I'm going to save this. Let's see. Excel for Accounting, Chapter 2. Chapter 2 EA video. And click save. You can save it as however makes sense to you. The next section of Chapter 2 talks about managing worksheets. Okay, inserting, renaming sheets. So Excel is what's called a workbook. And if you've ever had a physical workbook, it's made up of a bunch of different worksheets, right? Excel is the same thing. The file itself is a workbook, but we are working on various different sheets. Okay, so I'm going to come down here to this sheet and I'm going to rename it D1 because that was our first set of directions. We're also going to look at altering the rotation and the alignment of different text in this next section. So on page 39 towards the bottom is our second set. And again, we're going to, it tells you to start with a new blank document. We're just going to open up a new sheet down here. And it wants us to rename this sheet. And it wants us to rename it Income Statement. Oh, nope. I lied. We're going to rename this one Income Statement. Okay. Now it tells us to go to cell A17 and we're going to type monthly net income is acceptable. Okay. Now, what we're going to do with this is we're going to make these words kind of stand out a little bit on our worksheet. So we're going to go to Home, the Alignment section, which is right here in the middle. We're going to go to where it says Orientation, which is this A, B, and tilted sideways. And go to Format Cell Alignment. Okay, this gives us this box. Right here where it says Orientation, it says 0 degrees. We're going to change this to 10. And click OK. And all it does is just alter the direction that those words are going. Another place to find that is right here in Format, and Format Cells will open up the exact same box. Okay. So now step 6 is asking us to start a new sheet, and we're going to rename this sheet. Whoops. Statement of Owner's Equity. We're going to come back over here to Income Statement to the top, and we're going to grab these 3 lines, A1 to A3. We're going to copy those. We're going to go over here to Statement of Owner's Equity and we're going to paste them. Okay. Again, we're doing a Statement of Owner's Equity, so A2 does need to be changed. to statement of owner's equity. Okay, the other two can remain the same. Flipping over to page 41, step 11. I am entering the data as it states here on this page. Once I have this data typed in, okay, we're going to highlight C5 to C9, and again it tells us to change it to accounting, but we're going to use the comma, decrease the decimal. Step 14, highlight the headers for columns A through C, and then double click the border between columns A and B. So I'm going to go right here and double click to make that larger. Okay. In cell B1, choose Home, Cells, Format, Column Width. So again, just another way to get to the same place we've been going, and type in 2. Now, the meaning of this blank column in the middle is just to give some space between the account titles on the left and the numbers on the right. Okay. Whether or not you leave that blank column when you do your assignment is completely up to you. Again, different people think differently. And then we're going to save this before we move on to the next step. The next section that we're going to look at is alignments, indents, text control operations. We're going to learn how to merge cells, use colors, and some borders. Okay. So again, if you'd like to pause the video and take a few minutes to read through the things in your book, you may. I'm going to go ahead and move on to page 45, which is section 3 in our step-by-step. So again, they want us to save our file as a different file name. Personally, I'm just going to keep it where it is. Okay. So step 2, on the income statement tab. So I'm going to pop over here to income statement. Highlight range A1 through D1. Okay. And choose Home, Alignment, Merge, and Center. So what that does is it takes those 4 cells, those 4 individual squares, and makes them all one big square and allows us to center the words in it. Okay, it gives us a chance to put that title where we want it. And we're going to do the same thing to row 2. And row 3. Okay. Now it wants us to select A1 through A3, and you'll notice when we do that, it selects all of that. And it wants us to give it a font fill. We want to fill the background color of this. So we're going to go to Home, Font, and we're going to use this paint can. This is our fill color. And it wants us to choose Blue Accent 1, Lighter 80. And when you put your mouse on it, it'll tell you which one is Blue Accent 1, Lighter 80. When you do your assignment, you can use whatever color you want. I don't care. We're going to go to, whoops, I was on the Statement of Owner's Equity tab. That was supposed to be done on the Income Statement tab. Whoops. I'm going to flip mine over here. I'm just going to do them a little differently. So on this tab, I'm going to go A1 to C3. Actually, it would be A1 to D3. And if I go into my Merge and Center, I'm going to click Merge Across and then center them. Okay, so just another way to do it. This way it took me 2 clicks instead of doing each line individually. I'm going to do the same thing, except this time my color is already chosen, so I'm just going to click on it. Okay. So step 9, I'm back on the tab that I'm on now. Select cell C11 and D11. Oh, sorry, D12. Now, in accounting, when you guys worked in Excel, when you turned in any of your work, I was always on you guys about your single and double underlines. You're missing your single and double underlines, okay? This is where you're gonna find those. So in our font section right here, we have a borders button. If you click the arrow, we want our bottom border. This is our single underline. So if I click on that, it gave us single underlines. We're going to go to our Statement of Owner's Equity tab and cell C6 and cell C8 and do the same thing. But look, it's already there. So we can just click on it. I'm going to fix my formatting error there. Go to cell C9, we need to put the double bottom border there. So we're going to click on that arrow and there is one that says bottom double border. So we click on it and then we get the lines that we need. Okay, we're going to go ahead and open up a new sheet and we're going to rename this one the balance sheet. I am on step 15. I'm going to pop back over to the Statement of Owner's Equity. Click and drag over this. Copy it. Go back to my balance sheet. Paste it. Where in cell A2, I'm going to change that to balance sheet. And we know our balance sheet is only for a specific day. It is not for an entire month. So we're going to put in December 31st, 2016. Again, this book was written by an Excel person, not by an accounting person. That should be typed out. Okay? And when you do that and it throws a fit, you can come up here and change your date. Okay? I'm going to go to more number formats because I don't want the day of the week. I just want the month, the date, and the year. So I'm going to grab that one, click OK, and it formats it correctly. Okay, on page 47, step 18, I'm going to enter in the data as it listed in the table. As I'm typing this data in, you'll notice I'm not really following the book as far as the order that I'm typing them in. I'm doing it more of the way that I feel comfortable doing it. So that's totally up to you. Again, this number we would normally use an equation for. Okay, step 19 just gives us the rest of the data to fill in. So once you have all this data typed in, then we're going to go ahead and format it to make it look better. Your book has you leave all these blank lines between things. Again, this is one of those use your own judgment how you would like it to look. It's going to show us how to make those rows shorter. I personally would just put things next to each other. But again, totally up to you. Different people like different things. So step 20 says select C7 to C21 and change it to the accounting format. We're going to do the comma and decrease the decimal. And then we're going to select A5, hold down your control key, A13, keep holding your control key, and A17. So we're grabbing those headings and we're going to make them bold. So home, font, bold. And then we're going to C9 and C19. And we're going to put a bottom border, a single underline. C11 and C21 are going to get the double bottom border. And then A8. Again, this is one of those things that why are they having you do this? And I think it's more just to get you to practice with the text wrapping. I'm going to go ahead and follow the steps that the book is giving us, and then I'm going to show you how I would do it. And again, you can make your own choice on how you would want to present something. So it wants you to select A15 and then click within the formula bar. I'm sorry, select A8, I missed a step, and choose Home, Alignment, Wrap Text. So right here, there's a Wrap Text button. And I'm going to click on that. And what it does is it wraps the words so it fits in the square. Select A15 and click within the formula bar to the left of the P in Payable. So this is your formula bar. So it wants us to click right here. Up to the left, sorry. Tap backspace, so it's taking out that space. Hold down your Alt button and press Enter. What that does is it puts account and then press enter again. It puts accounts payable on 2 lines, but it splits it specifically between the word accounts and payable, okay? Where if you just use the wrap text with accounts receivable, you can see how that makes it look a little wonky. Now, step 27, select A21 and click wrap text. A19. And choose Home, Cells, Format, Column Width, and type in 22. Okay, you'll see when we do that, your accounts receivable pulls itself to be straight. Your accounts payable stays the way that you put it. Okay, we're going to change the width of this again to 15. So we're going to make it a little smaller. Okay, double click the border between C and D. So we're going to come up here and double click this to make that one a little smaller. Select cell B5 and change the column width to 2. And again, that B column is just to leave some space between the headings and the words, totally your call as to whether or not you actually use it. On all 3 tabs, set the range A1 to A3 to be bold. On the balance sheet tab, highlight A7 to A9 and choose to increase the indent. Step 34, select the header rows for 6, 10, 14, 16, 18, and 20. Okay, so this is where we're going to change the row height. So come up here to where it says Format, Row Height, and it wants it to change it to 5, and click OK. And then the next one says set the height of rows 19, 21, and 21 to 32. Now, you'll notice that when you do that, when you just follow the directions, it cut off part of this. So if we come down here, this works just like your columns. You can double click that and it'll bring back what's missing. Okay. So this is how they created their balance sheet. Should be wrapped. I'm going to copy this and paste it over here. Okay, and I'm going to show you how I would do it if this were my project. Okay. Actually, you know what? Let's do it this way. I'm going to put it down here. Oh, no, that's not going to work either. We're going to put it over here, and I'll show you why. If I leave it up there, then I can't delete rows. So I would take these out, because I feel like it's just too much stuff going on in one worksheet. Okay. And I would have these centered. Actually, I would probably have them merged and centered. because that's how you do a balance sheet when you are to do it on paper. Okay. So again, and I don't know if I can take this up there without messing anything up, but I'll give it a try. Yeah, I didn't think so. But again, whichever way you feel you would do it in the real world for your employer, that's how I want you to set them up for your assignment. Okay, you can follow their steps, or you can follow mine, or if you have a different idea, go for it. Okay. The worst thing I'm going to do is say that doesn't work because. Okay. Okay. Go ahead and save this, and that is the end of chapter 2, so you can go ahead and work on that assignment. Have a great week.